are prepared to break the silence. I'll be out in the sunshine, running beside the lions. I've been feeling down, but I've been looking up, afraid to fall. God, I've been so down, can you pick me up? Don't let me fall. Can you show me how to fix this mess? I am doubting on my knees and I may fall as I'm so close to the edge.
How are we all doing? Welcome back to Turf Moor House TV from myself and Diddy Dan right there. Hope you are all well. I just tried to scran a bit of pizza before the video ended, and now I feel like a rat tit because it's now just sat there, going to repeat on me for the next hour. But guys, really do appreciate it. The love and support that you've been giving us. Keep it coming. The channel is growing in abundance, and that's thanks to you a lot. So keep them likes and subscribes coming left, right, and centre. Really do appreciate it. We are here, though. Burnley versus Watford, midweek, Tuesday night, under the lights at Turf Moor. I'm not being funny, but Turf Moor at the minute, under the lights, you cannot get any better with some of the performances we are putting out. We are putting teams to bed nice and early. However, we have a playoff hopeful ready to try and upset the apple cart. If you could, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, we are on lots of different socials. You can check us out on all of them at the bottom. And just for a bit more, so you can see it a bit more visually, here is where you can check us out on Turf Moor House TV. And without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Watford himself. Pidge, how are you doing?
Yeah, good mate, good mate. Yes, it should be a cracker tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, obviously on the back of a 3-0 win against Norwich, a 3-0 win against Preston. What's not to love at the minute from my side? I mean, tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us a bit about your channel and where people can support you, though.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I'm from Tailor-Made Army TV, Watford fan channel. We can head on over to YouTube, Tailor-Made Army TV, TMA_TV on Twitter, and Tailor-Made Army Banter Forum on Facebook. Just like, share, and subscribe. We're smaller sort of channel, but very underground, hardcore for the fans, and make sure the fellow fan always gets their opinion through, rain, sleet or shine. Mostly at the moment a bit of rain from the Hornets, but we just say any opinion, get it out there, and let's spread the word for the Hornets.
Why not? I really appreciate it. The link as well is in the description of this video. The link for your Twitter, YouTube and Instagram is in the link, so people can go check you out on all those social media platforms. Let's have a look at a couple of comments before we get the show on the road. Henry, congratulations, 67 subs on the channel. You are on fire. Come on, Clarets and Hornets, let's have a good clean game. Either way, it's a bit of a boxing term, but as long as people go home to their families and no one's hurt. But yeah, I do like playing Watford, although bad memories of just rocking up 5 minutes late to Vicarage Road, seeing Jeff Hendrick get sent off after about 2 minutes, and then the game just, I hated that one. It was a long day out of that, especially when you were rough from the night before. It was torture. Mate says, what up, Dan? Hope you're doing well. I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. I've got a plate full of pizza sat at the side of me, and I'm going to bosh that off as soon as I possibly can. Henry says, hi to yourself. Brad is in the chat. He says, howdy, lads. Howdy to your fine self. Nate says, quite a collection of memorabilia there.
Cheers, mate.
Quite a bit in there. There's still room for more. Always room for more.
Yeah, 1 or 2 spots, but no, cheers, mate. A lot of fan donated as well, and yes, a lot of my collection, but a lot of friends and family have donated, and a few fellow fans have as well. So yeah, they're really grateful for that.
Oh, it's quite a collection. Like you've got that yourself. I know Chris from Leicester Till I Die. He has a lot of Leicester memorabilia, and you just get me sat in my front room with jack shit behind me. I feel like I need to up my game. Definitely need to up my game in that sense. Howdy to you. So everyone saying hi to Brad as well. And we've got Facebook user, which I'm trying to look on Facebook at the minute, but it's not actually letting me on it for some strange reason. Because obviously through the page, it doesn't actually let me know who's commented, but it's John. Big Bad John. How you doing? He says, can't wait for it. Burnley to 110 in a row. Yeah, I couldn't wait. Actually, I couldn't believe it when we started belting that out at Turf Moor the other day. And then they played it at full time as well. Bit of status quo.
Oh, bit of quo. Can't beat that.
You can't. It was banging. Dave's in. He says, superstar Pidge. What a legend.
Cheers, Dave.
Go on, Big Dave. And Henry says, I will set my sister and I'll be on to you, Dan. Hey, go on. Bring it on. Get the Burnley flags out for the lads. You don't want to see that. But the old badge and the new badge covering my nips. I'm all joking out, really. They're on my legs. But I'm sure when I get to about 85, they'll be around the same area. The missus is in. She says, evening, everyone. Evening to your bad self, who's just thankfully took this pizza out before it burnt. But cheers for that. Yeah. Let's get into it then. What have you made of your season so far? I mean, there's been change in the managerial hot seat, which we've come a bit accustomed to with Watford, but happy with where you are at the minute?
Not really. With the circumstances, yes. I think horrendous injury list. Like I said, I was very honored to come on your channel month or so ago, and we chatted with a few of the fellow fans as well, and I said the same thing, but we're fortunate now we've got a few players back as well, very key players on their way back, but yeah, in terms of the season, typical Watford, up and down, managerial changes, not as many as we're usually accustomed to. We've only had the 2 managers this season, and it's a bit indifferent at the moment, but I think a lot of new signings, a lot of players coming back, and it's a case of just wait and see. But we're obviously running out of games. You guys are absolutely flying, deservedly so. The table don't lie. Completely deserve to be where you are. But in terms of where we are at the moment, we're below the scum, and we're hovering around that. Are we not in the playoffs? Are we in the playoffs? Sort of thing at the moment. But really, a club, and I don't want to seem too arrogant, but a club of our stature and the squad that we got, we should be doing much, much better. But yeah, you got to throw in the other key factors as well with injuries and everything like that. So yeah, in short, I'm not necessarily too pleased with where we are, but I think Bilic has had to fight a lot of fires in the last few months, or certainly the last few weeks, and hard run of fixtures coming up, including you guys tomorrow, which will be an absolute cracker. But yeah, I'm still hopeful we'll cement a playoff position.
I was going to say sixth position. Obviously, Sunderland we're a point behind. Same with the unwashed. They're on 45 as well. But if the league was to stop now, I think it'd be what, you versus Middlesbrough in the playoffs and a potential final against the scum, as you like to call them.
It's the stuff of nightmares. Probably we'll probably beat them. We'll probably beat the dark side on April the 1st, which is quite fitting. We go to that dump on April Fool's Day, but we'll probably beat them twice and then end up the unthinkable happening at Wembley. They go up and we just will not live it down for years. But yeah, I think by then we've had all our players back, and it'll be quite an interesting game. But yeah, for the life of me, I just don't want that to happen. We can get through the playoffs, and yeah, if we get promoted, great. But I think a lot of us are looking at it now as if we don't get promoted, we need to have some sort of longevity, a long building process, and dip into the youth a little bit and build for the seasons to come, because we've got a lot of deadwood, a lot of egos there that seem to, for some reason, switch on and off whenever they like. There's times where we're absolutely brilliant, and there's times where we've been absolutely substandard, and yeah, we need to find a fine line and certainly grab that consistency by the scruff and neck and go with it.
I mean, you said earlier, I think, what was it? You've won 3 in 14 or something like that, or 3 in 12. I tried to call it without a winning 4 games, but yours sounded a lot better. But the last time you went on that longer run outside top, what's it here? Sorry, the Hornets last went on a longer such run outside the top flight in December 2013 when you had a run of 10. I mean, obviously you wouldn't want that now. But where do you think it's going wrong at the moment? Like, I know you said that there's some egos, so maybe there's a few just strutting around like, it should just come naturally. But do you think it's a case of maybe 1 or 2 of them have took the foot off the gas, or has some of the blame got to go towards Slav?
Yeah, you could. I mean, the buck always stops with the manager or head coach, as they usually call him. But yeah, you can't differentiate between the two, really, can you? But I think a little bit goes towards him. I do like the fact that he likes to change it a lot quicker than Edwards did. He doesn't wait until 5 minutes to go before making substitutions. So yeah, Bilic is. I'm firmly, and most of the fans are firmly behind Bilic as the head coach, and we want to see him have a bit more longevity in terms of his appointment, and at least 1 or 2 windows to build something here, and just show a bit of patience, because we say it's all well and good wanting to go up, and if you can't choose to go up, but if we don't build, we can be in for another really embarrassing top flight campaign like we did last time, where we truly pretty much kept the basis of the squad that went down, barring a few attacking players. Had a fantastic run under Isco, went up, and it just all unravelled with the amount of signings that we got. But yeah, the next few months, I think, with the returning players, the new signings that we got to bed in, certainly we've been made stronger by the signings, especially the centre backs. I think Porteous. It's going to be one of the bargains of the season.
Less than 500k for Mibs?
Well, the thing is, though, he was apparently a couple of years ago, he was going to go to Rangers. Were looking at him for about 4 or 5 million. I think he's near the end of his contract. I think that's probably why we got him a bit cheaper, or much cheaper, shall we say? And yeah, with Hoot as well, I think a lot of people are looking at that as a possible centre back pairing for the rest of the season. But yeah, Porteous, I mean, Jesus, what a player he is. I've never before. I heard whispers of him in Scottish football. I don't watch much of it, but I didn't realise he was that good. I mean, apparently the Hibs fans don't really rate him that much now because of his up and down form. But the first 2 games he's played for us, he's been absolutely immense. Long may it continue, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, your January window, you mentioned there, Porteous, Wesley Hoyt, who had obviously played at Southampton previously. Again, a sign that cost you less than 2 million from Anderlecht. I know you sent a lot of players out on loan in January as well. I know figures get banded around, but around 11 million spent in January, not to be sniffed at. I mean, happy with the business, the likes of like Cornet, Mateus Martins, Jorge Cabezas, Joao Ferreira. Typical you signing foreign players and making me having to read them out. And then Britta Sombolonga, that one I can nail. But he returns home. I mean, happy with your January window.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the only thing that disappointed me, because obviously with Loser being out, we had no real creativity from the centre of midfield. We've got 2 very good, or 2 or 3 very good central midfielders with Cleverly coming back, but we were pretty much settled on Kone and Chowdhury in that centre as the sort of nullify the attack sort of standard type of centre midfielders. But we really need an attacking threat, like I say, with Loser to complement when Loser was out. I think that was the only disappointment. We couldn't get an attacking midfielder. We've got plenty of forwards, like say Asamoah, Arajo. I say Hoyt as well. Everyone says Hoyt. Apparently it's Hoot, but everyone I speak to, even Southampton fans, say Hoyt. So I always go with Hoyt with the centre back. So yeah, we signed Hoyt and Portis. Ferreira, we call on our channel we call him Roche. Ferreira Roche. He looks really good. I think a lot of the players that we have signed are a certain mould that which Ben Manga who's come from on Eintracht Frankfurt with Helena Costa. Is so right hand man, but right hand woman. The two scouting head of scouting people that have come in, and the signings that they're bringing in are very much what they've been looking for. Like Ferreira, Arajo, very young, up and coming, players that you can sort of build up, that can play right now. But if they made that step up, there's the potential there. Portis as well, that can make that step up into a higher league, potentially. So yeah, in all, it's been pretty decent window. It's certainly strengthened us. It hasn't weakened us. I think any signing that you bring in should really be better or definitely as good as what you got already. And I think it's a case of just blending them in and mixing them in. But I think we've been questioning Asamoah because it was great in coming back. It's like he says, back home. But they, most of them say that when they say that. But he's carrying a bit of timber, so I think it's probably like Deeney.
He was always a big lad, though, weren't he? He was always a big lad.
More muscle, to be fair. We were debating this on Sunday. I think it's more. Deeney did this in 16-17. He came back. He looked an absolute unit. Problem is that he put so much weight on in terms of body fat, muscle fat. I mean, it slowed him down. I think that's what Asamoah has done. He's probably gone too big. If he shredded it a little bit, then there's certainly a very good player in there. And as a free transfer, 6-month contract, option of another year, we're not going to really lose out there. It's not like we've bought a certain Andre Gray for 18 million and ended up holding on to him for about 4 or 5 years. But so not really much.
Still counting out change that we've got left here as well. It's not too bad.
Still got 18 million of that, mate, and all.
Well, apparently, rumour is the debt that everyone was going on at us about and saying, it's going to relegate Burnley and affect them for years upon years, has now today been paid off. There's on the government website, it's been that Burnley have paid MSD Holdings the rest of the loan completely off, which means the money that was used from the club to buy the club, in terms of everything else, we are apparently debt-free. Don't quote me on it because there's naysayers that go, we've just refinanced the debt. We've just done. But surely it would have said that. I don't know. I mean, going off the January window, like you were saying there, it goes on to Henry's question. How many players are out injured? And do you think that's why you had to strengthen in January because of how many injuries there is to the squad?
I mean, it would have been nice to not made it a necessity and just basically just complement what we had. But I think there was a lot of that about that as well. We had to get them in quick and try and bed them in very quick because of the injuries. Henry's got it's a good question, mate, because at one stage we had about 16 players out injured plus one suspended, which if you look at it from one point of view, when we played Blackpool, we had about 4 or 5 youth team players in there. One was a scorer, was Adamayo, who's been really playing well in the youth team, and a certain Mr. Greaves, who's Daniel Greaves' boy as well, ex-Watford. So that was another fairy tale start for him. So in that 2 or 3 weeks, they had a mini cup run as well. So that obviously helped us out. But I think in terms of the signings, they needed to be done anyway, freshen up the place. And I think it was sort of bit of both. I think to probably answer that question in short.
No, I mean fair one to say. Good question, Henry. I like that. I know you said about being 6th, you're not happy with the position. I mean, obviously, if it was dying few games and 6th was as high as you could go, you would take it because it's still in the playoffs. But is it at the moment just a case of you feel you should be achieving more? You should be with way the capability of the squad.
Yeah, at the start of the season, okay, we had one or two injuries, but most clubs had, niggling ones that were coming back. But when we looked at the start of the season, when we had the likes of Sarr, Pedro and Dennis up front, we looked at that and said that's probably the best at the time. Obviously, it always changes, but at the time was the best forward line in the division, and we should be scoring goals here and should be really pulling up some serious trees here to get into the top two. And I said when I spoke to you guys, I mean, looking at your squads, young, youthful, fantastic squad. We were really sort of looking upon that sort of philosophy at the start of the season and bring some fresh faces in and try and build something. And I think, we really looked at top two would be fantastic. Playoffs, absolute bare minimum with the team that we've got. So, yeah, if someone says we finished the season now, obviously I'll certainly take it, but I think we should have done a lot better in hindsight. But hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? This is a very unforgiving league, mate. And there's a lot. You can look at it how tight it is. People can say it's a very poor league. You can play poorly and still get results. But then there's also, you have to respect the opposition. Every single team can beat anyone, and you need to earn your right to play football in this league. You need to really battle, grinding, win those hard tackles, and to play football, you really got to earn it in this division. That's one thing I would say with the Championship.
100%. I mean, I'm looking at Burnley's next three fixtures, and we've got you guys, and then we're away at Luton, and then away at Millwall. So we have got three teams that have been putting on the pressure in that playoff hunt. After that, it's almost like a bit of a come down. We've got Huddersfield at home, Fleetwood at home, Blackpool away, Wigan at home. It's almost like got a bit of a cushion. We say that now. Don't quote me on it, because it won't surprise me if they're one of the teams that ends the run. But I mean, I'm just looking at some of the stats. For us, we've not won the game against Preston. We'd won 10 games in a row with that. We matched our longest ever run, which was set back in January 1913. So not even my dad's dad was probably a twinkle in his dad's eye at that point. Making it 11, I think now we want that. But whether that comes is another question. I mean, how do you think Watford will set up in this game? Obviously, on the back of the fact that Burnley have had 2 3-0 victories, surely, I don't know, is it one of those where you try and go full throttle on us, or sort of be a bit resolute, hope that we'll tire towards the end of a game and maybe try and nick it?
It's an hard one, but with a simple question, with a simple answer, which we play better when we're on the front foot. A lot of fans will say that with any of their teams, that you play better when you're attacking, but Slav sides do play better when they're attacking. West Ham did it as well. West Brom to a certain extent in the Championship, and we're exactly the same. So we really on tomorrow night, we really need to have a go at you. Obviously, nullify, treat you with respect. We know how good you guys are. You're up there on merit. Best team in the division by a million miles at the moment. And like I say, pay respect here, but we need to force the issue, ask questions of you straight away, because that crowd, on a night game, most clubs, they say the night games are special. Absolutely agree with that, especially at Turf Moor. It's a very, very tough place to go. Bit like Stoke, they say Stoke on a cold Wednesday night. It's a similar sort of thing up in Burnley. It's very, very tough for teams in the Premier League. People hated going to you guys, and for good reason as well. It's an old school ground. You're very close to the pitch. It's all those cliches, but it's absolutely true. It's going to be a very tough game, and we need to force the issue straight away. Have a go at you, ask the questions straight away, because if we sit back and let you play, you go roll over us. So I'm going to put it out now. It's what, like I say, the league is that stupid and our form's that erratic. It wouldn't surprise me if we go and do you 1-0 tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, speaking of 1-0, that you were the last team we faced and not scored in a match. And yes, it was the third game into the season. We were still trying to find our feet. And I know obviously at the moment we've got a nice rhythm going, but that'll be in the back of those players' minds, won't it? That, you know, Watford stopped us before. You know, you got the clean sheet, good goal by Cleverley. You still held out with 10 men. So it can be done, can't it?
Exactly. But there's also the flip side is we're very notorious slow starters at the moment. And I can see you guys getting 2-0 up very, very quickly. And it could be a really long and disastrous evening for us as well. So, you know, the 1-0 thing was not an arrogant sort of claiming. I just think because how stupid this league is and the fact that, you know, the league has already thrown up some really ridiculous results where you sort of think, how the hell did they win that? That could easily be tomorrow. I mean, we've got tough games. We've got obviously you guys. We've got West Brom on the following Monday. We've got Preston coming up. We've got Sheffield United. We've said a lot of the fellow fans where they've gone on the forums have said we wouldn't surprise if we get 9 points out of 12. And that's not being arrogant. It's just how erratic our form is. We'll turn up to, say, not Norwich with no players and beat them 1-0. And we turn around and say, how the bloody hell have we won that? We expect it. And like I said, when we played Luton, we lost 3-0 quite deservedly away at Millwall. We were dreading it going into that derby, going, this could be embarrassing. And then we end up playing absolutely magnificent and giving them the tonking of their lives. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Either going to be a tight 1-0 win for us or you're going to absolutely roll over us, I think, tomorrow. It's going to be one of those two.
I looked at an article earlier. I think it was... however you want to call him. Obviously, he got the equaliser against Bastards at the weekend. So, and obviously, he's got another incentive. He's up against his former manager, so he's going to have a bit more, of an essence to want to put in another sort of match-winning performance. Again, who would you say has been your standout player so far? I mean, I know Henry's asking, do you think Sarr will go in the summer? I mean, I know it's a question that you probably hear week in, week out of, is Sarr going? Is he staying? I mean, will he be gone in the summer? And if so, do you think it'd be a big miss? Or do you think you've now got players capable that could slot in?
It won't be a big miss, to be fair. And I don't mean to people say I'm hating on him, but he's very erratic with his form. We know what's really frustrates us. He's such a good player, but he doesn't show it enough. The times he does show it, he's the best player on the park. But then he probably shows it every 10, 15 games. That's what's really frustrating with that lad, because we know how good he is. In terms of Sarr, I think he'll probably go in the summer, probably about 20 million. It's just the summer, so it's not January. January we probably looked about 30, 40 million, which is most of our fellow fans will absolutely laugh at and say, "We'll snap your hand off straight. We'll drive him up there if you were offering him that." I know Everton offered a couple of million a loan and then pay the rest in the summer, but we went, no, you either give us money now or you're not having him, guys. You know, you nick our ex-managers and you nick our ex-players. With Daishi, as much as I love Daishi, he's in charge there now, so they're nicking all our rejects at the moment.
True.
So no, look, jokes aside, Daishi's a fantastic manager, don't get me wrong. But yeah, my favourite player this season, Shamey is definitely João Pedro. I think he's been absolutely amazing. Backman's been up there as well in play of the season.
He's really come into it, hasn't he? Because he were. I think he had a little spell of game time, and then obviously Ben Foster came back into his own, sort of took that number one shirt back again, and Backman's Backman. You know what I mean? And to be fair, he's really surprised me, because wasn't he at Stoke at one point as well?
Yeah, that's where we got him from, I think. Yeah, and
I thought he were a decent keeper there. But I was going to say, it were a case of game time being one of those things. I mean, John asked on Facebook. He said, "Are you going to the game?" I know it's a Tuesday night and it's a bit of a travel, isn't it?
I would have loved to go to the game, mate, but no, sadly I can't go to it. And I'm usually up. I'm up early tomorrow morning for gym, so I've got a lot of things, getting there. I have to have the day off, and I've got no annual leave. So if I had it, I would have definitely have tried to go up to Burnley, because.
Well, I think it's on Red Button. I think it's on the red button.
Yeah,
On
I'm
Sky
going to
Sports Football.
watch it on
So
Sky, but yeah, I know a
actually,
few
I
of my
think
mates are going. Sorry, mate. Go on.
yeah. Oh no, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I love it that the dedication from supporters, especially on a midweek game. Traveling London to Burnley. I mean, it's from one shithole to another without disrespect, But yeah, no, it's good going. I mean, I nearly got shoved in with PNE fans the other day. I was walking down to turf. I had no Burnley clobber on, and I were on phone. As I come off, I put my phone back in my pocket, and I tried to go towards where the what was it? Where all the Burnley fans were peeling off. So where the board says who we've got next game, I thought, all right, I'll just peel off here. This copper went, I don't think so, knobhead. Gripped me back collar and pushed me back into PNE fans. And then they all started like shouting PNE, PNE, and I'm just like, fuck off. So I've sort of like tried to escape to the side, managed to get out of him. And this cop was like, where do you think you're going? I said, I'm a Burnley fan. I'm not even with these. So the next minute, one of them's caught wind that I've said this. And then they start going, go on, fuck off, you Burnley bastard. And trying to push me through. This copper then grips on me and goes, right, you get out here. And so, yeah, that was fun. That was quite interesting before the game. So, but you can't beat away days. Even, I know we were at home, but as an away supporter, just you're singing 90 minutes, aren't you? And it's brilliant. Henry says here, even though managers have come and gone, Sarr is more loyal to the club than he could have left to play for a Prem club or abroad. Has he missed his chance?
No, he hasn't missed his chance. Henry's got a very good point. He has been very loyal. Okay, I can talk about inconsistencies till the cows come home, but that's one thing I would say is, in terms of loyalty, yeah, he has definitely been loyal. He's been here for a few seasons now, so certainly take me hat off for that, because he could have gone at the end of his first season where we got relegated, but he decided to stick with us, and certainly respect him for that.
No, can't beat it. Can't beat it. Andrew says, can't beat away days. A home game is away from it. Well, yeah, when you're sunning it up in Costa del Scotland, it's it's a bit. It's a nice little holiday for you, isn't it? It's like a trip abroad when you come back to Burnley. Obviously, I don't know what slum you want to call it, the favela of Brazil or something. But hope you are well, Andrew. Hope everything is well with your good self. Who are you more worried about facing, obviously, in tomorrow's game? I know a lot of people will say Nathan Teller because of his goal scoring ability at the moment. I think he's got 4 in his last 2 games. But who do you think is the one that Watford need to look out for?
Well, the thing is, though, with us, and I haven't looked too much into Burnley. I just know you guys are very good on the one thing that we need to do to counteract you, because you've got so many really good young up-and-coming players, and you've got a few from like the Cities and teams like that. You brought them on loan, and yes, certainly Company's done a fantastic job in terms of bringing them through. I think just in general, I think we need to stop you attacking, because I mean that's your biggest threat, is when you attack, and you're very, very quick on the break, and that's a thing that we seem to struggle with. So certainly if we're going to eradicate that, we need to do that tomorrow, because otherwise we'll go big trouble against you guys.
I mean, who do you think Burnley should look out for then? If I flip the question that way, who should we look out for? Who's the key man for you?
Pedro coming back, Loser if he does start. I think Loser's made a bit of a cameo against a lot. So I don't want to swear on your channel against the unwashed, as you call them. Obviously, like I say to your lovely fan base, I do apologise we didn't beat them on Saturday. Just blame the players, not me. But yeah, I think Loser and Pedro are more attacking threats. We've got a few players coming off from the bench, but yeah, I think they'll be our main 2. Sarr, I probably won't say Sarr and then he turns up and plays the game of his life, but Sarr can always be that threat. It's just when he wants to be. So in terms of pace, then yeah, trickery, Pedro, creativity from Loser, pace when he wants to do it, certainly so.
No, sounds like we've got 3 to watch while trying to play our own game. Should be interesting. John says here as well, he says, I've read up we could be promoted in the next month, but agree Watford will make playoffs. Great side. I'm thinking they could cause an upset tomorrow, but I do have faith in the boys. I mean, again, it is a very tough fixture. You know, like, as I said earlier, you are the ones that upset the apple cart last time. You are our first defeat, the last team that we've not actually scored a goal in a game. And it was Rob Edwards, weren't it? Rob Edwards was in charge at that point. I think it were only about 2 or 3 games later that he got the chop. But it makes for an interesting one. It does make for an interesting one. Henry says 1-0 to Liverpool. We finally scored. Woohoo! The old Merseyside derby. I forgot about that tonight, to be fair.
By the way, my father-in-law's an Evertonian next door, so he's watching that.
Oh, so it'll be obviously gutted.
Just a little bit.
Gutted. No, I mean, you say, well, God forbid, say Slav's got COVID. So they give you a ring and say, look, you're picking the team lineup. Pidge, I need you. You're the man. Give us your team lineup. Who do you think would be your starting 11 for the game tomorrow?
I think it'd be obviously Backman's a nailed-on starter for us. You put Gaspar at right back. I would actually put Morris at left back. We've had a bit of a debate on the fan channels and the podcasts about Kamara, but I'd put Morris. Obviously, the centre back pairing of Porteous and Hoot or Hoyt there. Centre midfield, we'll probably have 2. Loser in front of them with Chowdhury and probably not actually Chowdhury and Loser in centre midfield. In front of him, you have Pedro in the centre, Sarr, Martins, got this Brazilian Martins, and probably Davis up front. But we have got this Arajo, or how you pronounce him, from Benfica. Apparently, he's got a £100 million release clause in his contract.
Wow.
For this lad. He's only, obviously, someone goes, well, why can't we buy him? I said, just look at his contract. And they went, oh, okay, fair enough. But I think, Chowdhury comes in for a lot of stick, but I think he'll have to be there just to break up play. A lot of people say he doesn't make many passes forward, but to be honest, he's a defensive midfielder. As long as he does his job of stopping, nullifying attacks and giving it to players that can actually play, then his job's done as far as I'm concerned. It's getting that fine balance between the defence and attack, and I think the centre midfield pairing tomorrow of Loser and Chowdhury would be perfect for that.
Definitely. I think that answers that question, Nate, straight in. I think that answers that one. I mean, give us your score prediction then. How do you think this one's going to go? Because to be honest, I know I don't usually give mine till Thursday, but I would snap your hand off for a point.
My heart says 1-0 to Watford. I usually go boring 2-1 with all my podcasts whenever we do like a Friday one before the Saturday. I always say like a Pidge predictor is always 2-1, but I think realistically, if it goes really amazingly well for us, it'll be a 1-0. If it goes completely bad for us, it'll be 3-0 to you guys. So I'm going to stick with 1-0 just because of, like I said already, how unpredictable this league is. But yeah, it'll probably, like you said, it'll go for a point. It'll be a point.
Yeah, I'd take it. I definitely would take it. John says, Michael Obafemi, I'd love to see him tomorrow. Yeah, he didn't look too bad when he came on. I mean, there's still a few questions out about Lau Foster, Cherlinov. I mean, I know Bastion's had a couple of questions over him recently, but yeah, we haven't seen much of Obafemi, have we? So I think he will rotate potentially. If not, then expect to see what we had out against Preston. But the game's coming thick and fast. The games are coming thick and fast because obviously we've got this one tomorrow. We've got Luton on Saturday, and then I think we're midweek again. Midweek again away at Millwall. I mean, midweek away at Millwall. Again, it's a bit like you guys coming to us, isn't it? It's very similar.
Even longer.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing more of him. What's that? Sorry, pal.
Sorry, mate, to interrupt. Even longer trip for you guys.
Oh yeah, horrible trip. I mean, to be fair, nobody likes going Millwall anyway, but but having to go there because there's a fixture, it's just Strange one. But no, I appreciate it, Pidge. Appreciate that. Again, tell people where they can show their support to you and your Watford fan base.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Firstly, thank you ever so much for an honour to come on your channel, mate, and good luck for the rest of the season after tomorrow.
Really appreciate that. After tomorrow.
And obviously smash the scum for us at the weekend. That'll be absolutely amazing, mate. And we'll all be Burnley fans for that. Yeah, head on over to TaylorMade Army TV on YouTube, TMA_TV on Twitter, and head on over to TaylorMade Army Banter Forum on Facebook. You have to answer obviously the usual questions and how many times we've made the FA Cup final, which is probably should be quite an easy answer and stuff like that. But yeah, get yourself in there and join in the fun.
Definitely. As it says all across the bottom, follow our guests. The links to the respective channels are in the video description on our YouTube page. So the Twitter link, the Instagram link, and YouTube channel are all in there. And join us potentially tomorrow night. Fingers crossed everything is going to work, but we could be doing a live watch along of the game. So do join us for that. And hopefully it's another me sitting here dancing, looking like wearing my Burnley shirt up here and underpants underneath off camera, which nobody needs to see that. But yeah, let's fingers crossed for a Burnley win, I'm sure, and I'm sure for you, Pidge, you're wanting that Watford victory to end that barren run that you're on at the moment. Really appreciate having you on. Thank you very much. And yeah, if you're listening to us on podcast platforms, please do check us out. And thank you very much for your support. They're growing at the moment, and we really do appreciate it. Also, drop a like on the videos if you are enjoying it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and click the link to get notified of when we next go live, which potentially should be tomorrow night with the watch along. But it is Monday night. The Monday is over. You've done the horrible day. It's out the way now. And fingers crossed, a trip to Turf Moor under the lights will be the pick-me-up to the week that you need. Well, from our side anyway. Good luck for the rest of the season, Pidge. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Take care and good night.